All right. Okay, assuming this camera works, it appears we are live again for the first time since last November, I think it was. So, I've got a bit of a new camera setup. This stream was supposed to happen a few days ago actually, but I've had such horrendous problems with the microphone. It really is just a painful exercise trying to use this radio mic. I really need to get a new one, but I've got this new arrangement with the camera up here. But I should add that this whole setup hasn't been used, not being used for over 3 months. It's probable that there's issues with the audio and issues with all sorts of things. So I hope somebody let me know if there's anybody watching. There's a bit of an unusual time of day to stream. I know I'm not going to get much traffic from anywhere at the moment, but let's just get back into the swing of things. Now, the idea of this camera here, I broke the clip a while ago, so I ordered some more and they were too thick for the little bracket in here, which used to be on the top of the desk. So I've moved it so it's underneath, which, since these cameras won't zoom, they don't have an optical zoom anyway, this should enable us to get a little bit closer in on what we're looking at. So let me know if you prefer this close cropped kind of view, or if it's too cramped. It does mean that we see less, and this camera's got quite a narrow field of view, but nevertheless we'll see how it goes. So let's minimize this. I don't think I'll need the chat window, but it's there nevertheless, should I require it. So what we've got here is an Atari 400, which, if I get the rest of it, this is going to show you what I mean about not much actually fitting on this table. Never mind, I should get some detail anyway. So this is the case of the Atari 400 that was sent up by Dominic a week or two back, and obviously there was no monitor jack on the 400. And I learned the other day actually that the 400 was not meant to have a keyboard at all. Initially it was just going to be a kind of a console, but the keyboard was added, and the keyboard we have here, this hateful thing, which I'm assured by the machine's owner is a delight in a nostalgic capacity, is a delight to use. It should sort of sit there. It's a little bit difficult to put in, but there you are. There's the keyboard. Ah, how nice is that? So this was kind of an afterthought apparently, this keyboard. It's got a little bit of damage here, but the owner has assured me that he's bought a spare, which is going to fit when he gets the machine back. Now, when it came to, I'll get rid of the keyboard for a minute and just pop it over there. Now, when it came to where to put the monitor jack, I didn't want to go for the sort of screw the jack into the case kind of thing, because I like things to be able to come apart so they can be serviced. So what I wanted to do was find a spot on the board where we could put the jack. So I'll just move the case for a minute. All this work would have probably been covered on video if I could have got the setup to actually work, but I couldn't, so there you go. So that's why it's delayed. So what I wanted to do was actually fit, initially I wanted to put the jack on the side here, pretty much where you'd find it on an 800, but there isn't really room. You could have maybe put the thing at the front here. Might have been a better bet than the back, because at the back we've got this huge electrolytic capacitor, which is I guess yeah, directly related to the 9-volt AC power input. So I don't want to be putting anything around there when they cut traces. Similarly at the front we've got some thick traces here. I don't know if they're power, well, possibly 5-volt traces. Not a good place. So one place that did look sensible was the back here. Now this was where the RF channel switch used to be, and fortunately I had because I wanted to make this, rather than putting an S-video jack on the back, I wanted to use the stock 5-pin DIN that you would find on any 8-bit Atari, and I had these low profile, as you can see this is a very low profile connector, which I've managed to bodge in there, drilled holes in the bottom of the board after I removed the channel switch. I had to grind away a few traces here. It was very, very messy work. It would have been nice to have it on camera, but as I say, there was just dust everywhere. It's not good. I had to vacuum the place afterwards. It was a hell of a mess. So and it just fits such that it doesn't short the legs out on the back of the heatsink. Now the case, obviously once we decided where we're going to put the jack, the next job was to modify the case. Now this was tricky. This hole is a lot bigger than it needs to be actually. All we had here initially was a slot for the channel switch, which I kind of dremeled out a little bit, and the plastic is yeah, the plastic on these things is very, very brittle. I mean, it's 40 years old now, approaching 40 years old. And what I had noticed when I took the machine out of the box and the packaging when it arrived, I'm not sure yet, I'm still a little bit unclear as to whether this actually happened in transit or whether it was like this before. I don't think the owner had noticed any problems, so maybe it did happen in transit. There was a kind of a tiny crack here, you can sort of see it. Here's already we're feeling the benefits of the super zoom camera angle. But yeah, this kind of crack running down from here initially, and there's another one. Yeah, there's another one on this side. So when I began to, you can see how little material there is on the corner here. It's quite a sort of a weak point. So when I was filing away at this slot, of course this gave way completely, sheared off all the way across and along there. So this whole side of the case became slack. Lost a couple of little vent slats there. So this has had to be glued together again. And the plastic was difficult to work with. The hole's bigger than it needs to be, but it still looks reasonably neat. It does look nice with the connector in. We can go ahead and do a test fit. I'm not too happy with the size of the hole. It got kind of carried away with itself. I was sort of doing a damage limitation thing at the end of the day when the case started to disintegrate, but you can get an idea of how it's going to look. It looks a bit better. It's a little bit more, when there's shieldings on and everything, it looks a bit more centralized. It does look a lot better than that, but anyway, that's pretty much how it looks. If I can get this to sit properly, it might look a bit better. There we are, drag that along slightly. Yeah, anyway, so there we go. So the key point being that we can still lift the board out and service the machine and do anything we need to do. So that's that. But yeah, the plastic is does not like to be worked with. I heard a story back when the Incognito was first released, where one guy had, obviously this caused a flurry of activity with people obtaining 800s, and one guy managed to drop, or his wife dropped, the cartridge cover, you know, on the 800, the cartridge door. There's one down there, but I'm not going to go down and reach for it. The big sort of dual hinged cartridge door. It's sort of all slatted, vented, and that got dropped. You drop it from about 3 feet, and it just smashed to smithereens, completely destroyed, irreparable. So yeah, you've got to be careful with this stuff. Hello to Ian Patriot. True on these cases getting brittle as they age. Yeah, there was some talk of stuff like Retrobrite making the situation worse. I haven't sort of observed this personally. I just think they're brittle from the get-go. These plastics, something about these ones for the 800 and the 400, they're very, I mean, they're not that much older than, say, an 800 XL, or let me put that up there for now. Then that looks nice. Then an 800 XL or something that was made 4 or 5 years later, but they are very, very. Also, there was actually the same guy. This was an 810 disk drive, which had sat in my cupboard for years. And then the owner kind of, it was I was supposed to be doing a track 0 sensor repair or something. It was a little bit beyond me at the time. So a couple of years later he said, "Oh, you still got that disk drive?" And I said, "Yes, I did." I mean, it wasn't really any use to me anyway, so I was happy to send it back to him. Even though it was an open-ended thing as to where it would end up if I couldn't fix it. But yeah, I packed it with a printer and some other stuff, some quite heavy stuff in the box, and after having done a Retrobrite job on the disk drive case, and it looked very nice, and he was going to just take the guts out of it and put a working mechanism in it, so it was going to be great. And yeah, it got bumped in transit. It was quite well packed, but it got bumped in transit, and pretty much completely destroyed the case of the 810. So and it was a real shame. But oh, hi John, it's Firedog. Oh, Firedog, hi Firedog. How are you doing? How's the audio? Because with this setup not having been used for a long time, the first thing that this machine did, I haven't had this PC switched on since last November, really. And the first thing it did yesterday was do an update, and it actually failed. It tried to do Windows 10 tried to do an update and hung halfway through. You know, when you get that reboot phase where you get the spinning disk and it locked up. So I power cycled it, and then it booted again and said there was a problem downgrading to your previous version of Windows, etc., etc. And right, we're going to snip this off here, I think. Where's the audio hookup for this thing? and then I applied an update, and some weird stuff. I mean, then it came to sort of reattaching everything. Sound is fine. I'm soldering up these 1088 XEL boards. I think every Atari fan on the planet who's capable of using a soldering iron is making a 1088 XEL at the moment. If they can afford it, it's not necessarily a cheap endeavour. Well, it's cheaper if you're making your own. But yeah, some strange stuff on here. Let's see. I'll just tidy up before I go for a screen grab. Yeah, some weird stuff, because I've got this video capture device. This is bizarre. So we've got imaging devices, and we've got the, oh no, sounds like the video capture card has gone on a blink again. That's why. Yeah, some stuff that used to be an image capture has gone to, let's try, oh hell, I'll put it back the way it was for now. Some stuff that was in image capture has gone to cameras in Device Manager. That's entirely bizarre. Has that showed up? Cameras, there we go. EV to USB 2. So you only like being in the front USB port, and if I've changed to the back USB port, I've got to do a reboot. Well, that's not convenient in the middle of a stream. Right. Okay, so where was I with this? The audio hookup point. So the thing I'm working from here, I should really do a window capture. They never work. Is the KG Man S-Video modification for the 400. The only thing I'm referring to here is the audio tap, which I haven't marked off on the board. So anyway, you can see that I've tested the thing and it works. I haven't done the audio yet, but I've basically tested it, and it works as desired. The picture is really very good, which you'll get to see a little bit later on. Now I'm just going to mark off this audio tap, and I'm hoping it's the correct spot that's going to mix in our SIO audio, because I was talking to, I think, Panther the other day, and he was a little concerned that the SIO audio might not get mixed in, so I guess we'll soon find out if we have to make any changes here. So what I don't want to do rather, is do a straight hard connection from here to here, because if you want to take the power board off at any point, that's going to make life difficult. Now this audio wire is going to be a bit of a stretch, but it should be okay. Yes. So I think what we'll do, right, so we'll follow the convention of having a female connector at this side and male on this side as per the motherboard. We'll snip this about here. Like I say, I'm in two minds about this close camera angle, but we'll see how it goes. I did try this the other day. Again, I thought maybe this would be nice to use for the desk view, because it's got a wider angle at 1080p, and it's a bit smoother. But oh, whoa, the C920 compared to these, the B910 and the C910, is just awful. Grainy. I've had this argument with somebody it's a friend of mine who was into webcams and stuff, and he said, yeah, but the C920, it does hardware encoding on the camera and yeah, all this stuff, but it's the quality sucks with the same lighting levels that we've got in here today, and I can see green on the picture, but this C920, it was just like it was like an old TV with a poorly tuned TV signal. It was absolutely awful. So I'm seriously considering selling that, but what's stopping me is that it seems prudent to have a spare camera. But as my wife said, well, why not sell the C920 for some bizarre unknown reason? These things actually sell for about 60 quid second hand, although I only paid a tenner for it. But sell that and buy another B910, which actually isn't a bad idea. I may do that because I've tried everything to find a use for that camera and just to like that camera, and it's just not happening at all. It's junk. So it may work for some people, and it's also soft because it does compression in the camera. The image is very soft, so the detail that you see here is the sensor on these older cameras is actually bigger. It'd be helpful if I turned the iron on first. The sensor on these cameras, the older cameras, is bigger than the sensor on the C920. You may say unnecessarily so, because what you're seeing here is essentially a crop of the sensor, but it does seem better. The detail is really good. Anyway, yeah, I should have turned the iron on first. But yeah, the S-Video mod, if we have a quick look. Oh, I can't open Word files on here because I haven't got Office installed. Well, that's cool. That's useful. What's this one? I don't know. Oh, this is for a switch. I don't need the switch. Forget about the switch. So yeah, 1088 XEL. Here we go. Got it to hand. Yeah, I hope you enjoy it. It's lots of fun. I found another bug in the loader last night, which I fixed. It was it was a corner case, what you might call, but I think it's reasonably sorted now. And so when I get this finished, we'll go ahead and upload all the firmware. But there seems to be a lot of interest in this new BIOS stuff, which is great. Particularly from America, which I suppose is where the I suppose most of the interest in the 1088 XEL tends to originate. But the support from the US is remarkable, especially people like Michael, who just go beyond the pale, really, as far as generosity is concerned. I need to get some more shrink tubing with a smaller gauge. This mic, I've just honestly, if anybody has any recommendations for it, because this thing is a Bolum WR 510 or something, just the cheapest crap. But when you go for anything reasonably halfway decent for a lavalier mic, a radio mic, you're looking at 100, 150, 200 quid, no problem. And to get this setup working, I have to go through this sort of dance of turning on the transmitter and turning on the receiver, and I get a lot of static, and then eventually on the third or fourth time it works. So long may it continue to work. I had to lay down my soldering iron for a moment. Thank you, John, for your work on the 1088 XEL brains. Oh, well, thank you very much. That was very kind of you. Of course, it's only half the brains. A lot of the brains is in the pick chips that Michael designed. I mean, I can't really take credit for anything because the BIOS was largely already finished by the time the 1080 XEL came along. But all I really did was add some other stuff. I need a ground wire as well, don't I? Yeah, we'll do that a bit later on. I want to make the other end of these wires on a male connector, which I'm gonna solder up. But yeah, it was the this dual compact flash card support stuff that took a long time to get right, because none of the side PBI firmware was ever envisaged to need to work with two cards. So at first I changed the PBI BIOS and I thought, oh, this is easy, you know, just take the drive select bit from the D unit variable in the DCB, and yeah, it's easy. An extra flag in the partition table for each entry, each logical drive, just to say whether it's on the master or the slave volume. That's easy enough. But it was later on when I came to make changes to the loader, so that would work with two physical cards, that I'd forgotten a lot of stuff, like how having two cards would impact the disk image mounting system and all sorts of awful stuff that took ages and ages and ages to fix. But it seems to work now. Obviously we haven't got the ability to swap disks around with the button on the XEL CF, which is I don't think it's going to be a big limitation for a lot of people, but it's a difference. It's, you know, and but for things that are missing, for most things that are missing, there's something else there that sort of makes up for it, you know. So not a big deal. But yeah, it took a long time, I'm not gonna lie. It just vastly complicated everything. And the bug that I found the other day was caused by a change that I'd made. And in fact, strictly speaking, it had never worked from day one. Just one of those silly little things. But that's fixed now, so I've just got too many things on it all at the same time to do with Ataris. Documentation, website changes, firmware updates. Got to test I still haven't tested well, I have tested the loader, the standalone loader on the side cartridge, and then I've got the side 3 supposedly coming along, which I'm apparently involved with, which I'm pleased about. But I've still got no idea of what changes, because apparently my loader is going to be used on it, which is great. And but I still don't know whether or not side 3 emulates the IDE interface, or whether the PBI BIOS on the existing Ultimate 1 megabytes is going to have to be whether it's going to have to be hang on, I'm just going to plug this into something. What am I doing here? You can plug it in there, you fool. Whether or not I'm going to have to put SPI code in to drive the SD cards, how the loader is supposed to you can't see what I'm doing really, can you? How the loader is supposed to register a cartridge ROM, because this thing is going to apparently do exactly what the Uno cart and Ultimate cart do, which is have sort of cartridge ROM emulation, which is great. So with that, it should be more or less the ultimate solution, because you'll have a hard disk, you'll have mounted ATRs right in the fat, and you'll have, which are read write, the only solution around that does it that way. You'll have the ability to run, you know, all your banked cartridges straight out of the loader, hopefully alongside the hard disk. I can't see a thing here. Hopefully that'll all work together. So it's going to be pretty much unbeatable, but it would be nice as the developer to actually have, or one of the developers to have some idea what it is I'm supposed to be doing. I'm going to put some nice tubing over these fellas. Looks good. Can we get away with a thin gauge? I need to face up to the fact that I may need glasses. It's broad daylight here and I still can't see a damn thing. I use these this jeweler's loop thing, but it's not very stream friendly. I look like that guy from Blade Runner, you know, who's got all the eyeballs in the jar, I think, if I remember correctly. But anyway. I was supposed to be doing an errand, so I'm expecting a phone call at any time, which could be extremely disruptive. So there we are, sleeving. I've got this plugged in a ridiculous fashion here. No, it's not in a ridiculous fashion, it's how it's going to work. Yeah. Anyway, it's plugged in because when I'm soldering the wires to the pins, if it wasn't plugged into something, the pins will tend to melt the casing. So we'll do a bit of shrink tubing there at about 400 degrees C, which is far too hot, but never mind. There we are. Nice neat job. Can you see this? Yeah. There we are. Nice and neat. So that's going to be our 3 wires. I'm going to do a short hop for the ground wire, which hopefully shouldn't cause any problems, otherwise I'm completely wasted a lot of time here. So if you're going to say that black, well, let's see now, is this going to reach for the audio, or have I just completely miscalculated? No, that's going to be fine. So if we make audio green, perhaps, or will we make audio black? What will we do? Yeah, we'll make audio black. We'll make chroma blue and luma green. Why not? Why not? So luma is green, so we're going to go there. This is all going to be nice and modular. Alright, what I'd like to do is bend the wire a bit to make a little hook. Get the job a bit more central. It just does seem to look a bit clearer. I don't know what it's going to look like when YouTube encodes a video, but not too bad. Okay, so we're going to have, we've got that, we're going to shrink, sleeve this resistor as well. Yeah. And sleeve my resistor. Any trouble with this camera, I keep hitting the head on it. That's a slight problem. Yeah. Okay. Turn this round so it's comfortable for me. I never owned a 400, maybe because I wanted an 800 with a real keyboard. I had a Timex Sinclair 1000. Timex Sinclair 1000. I'm not even sure if I've ever seen one of those. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Let's see what this is. What have we got here? Timex Sinclair 1000 was the first computer devised by Timex Sinclair. So that thing, it looks sort of like a. So that's got an integral screen? No, surely not. No. It's kind of like a. Oh. So this was. I'm assuming this was built under license. A joint venture between Timex Corporation and Sinclair Research. Oh. How many did they make? Wow. The keyboard's still nicer than the. It's still nicer than the 400. Not ever having seen a TX 1000 is a good thing. Well, wow, what's happened here? Interesting stuff. Well, this 400 has 48k RAM, fortunately, so it's not entirely useless. Right, let's get some shrink tubing on this because I think we are immediately adjacent to the ground trace. Alright. Well, we don't really need to take that off. Being a young man and not having a lot of money within my budget range, yeah, and at a minimum, got me started with computers. Well, yeah, absolutely, and I started off with the Atari 65XE. What did I say? Green for Luma, blue for Chroma, something like that. Yeah, I started with the 65XE, and that lasted for about 2 years, and then it died, probably for a power supply problem or something. But it was reasonably nice. The keyboard was a bit crap, but and then the next one lasted more or less until I killed it by modifying it when I didn't really know what I was doing. But it was yeah, I got mine for Christmas, I'm pretty sure. Those were the days. Okay. Turn the temperature down a bit, or certainly the air a bit. Turn the air down. Watching Dave Jones' review of the Quick hot air station that Lewis Rossman sent in. I think Lewis sent it to him. It's probably far too long. What the hell? And that looks like a nice piece of kit for about $300. So we're going to opt for this pick-off point for the audio for the moment. I'm just going to see how that turns out. Can you see anything I'm doing here? I suspect you can't. Maybe a good thing. Right. And have I got this the right way around here? Yeah, because this is these are the resistors for these resistors aren't exactly the same values as those in the guide, but because what they're doing is they're in parallel with the resistors on the top of the board, so I ran the values through, did the sums on them, and I can't honestly say that it's going to make a great deal of difference, 10 or 20 ohms one way or the other, and the picture looks pretty good. And some of the values are a bit unusual. Okay, that doesn't look great. That should be shorter, but we'll go with it for the moment. So turn this back around again. Now chroma, which is this one, the green one, is going to go, yeah. So Luma is on the far right. I can never remember the pinout on this thing. I end up looking at the appendix in mapping the Atari, which is basically correct. Yeah, luminance is on pin 1. Pin 1. I'm getting dry throat. I think I need a drink. Right, so let's just get this on here. I don't know if I mentioned this, but Sebastian Kotek sent me this reel of solder. I don't know if I mentioned that before. I can't remember whether I even had it the last time I made a video, but thank you to Sebastian for this. Was it 250 grams of good old 6040. Good stuff as well. Good stuff. Right, where am I? That's like Luma. I'll bend this one. What I should probably also do is the unused pins on the jack, I'll use them as anchor pins and solder some wire on the back side of the board so that it's even less likely to rip off the board. There we go. On there. Alright, good. And ground obviously in the middle. Audio. Take note of the audio pin, which I didn't do. On the opposite pin, the far pin, the pin completely obscured by this bloody cap. We'll bend that round there like that. Alright, not a problem. Right, so audio is going to go around there. Bend this flat again. I shouldn't have bent this at all. Doesn't need to be bent. tin it a bit more. Tin this a bit more. Now before I put this on, I'll put the audio lead on. Ugh, ow! Ow, swine. Gotta get one of those tip cleaners. Right. Then this one. This is our audio, so we're gonna hook that right there. Like so. Which you probably can't. Oh, you can see. Just see it. To take note of whether or not you can see this stuff. And then our chroma, which are you going to reach? Are you going to reach? You're not going to reach, are you? Because of the way the... We need to flip this capacitor around a bit. I think we can do that. Flip this around so that it's a little bit more conveniently positioned. And we need a ground wire as well. So we need a bit of wire for our ground. Have we got a bit of wire for our ground? Another black one. Just pinch a bit of this wire. We need to find ground on the board. Alright, what's good for ground? Ground, well, obviously. Oh, look at these probes, are all wrapped up in each other. Right, ground. This is obviously ground. What around here is ground? Your ground? Well, I hope so. Why would you be ground? Well, I guess so. I would expect those legs to be rounded. But not there. Interesting. Well, they're the two ground pins for the SIO connector. That must be ground. Must be ground. Let's assume it is. Right. So we'll just run a wire from this center pin, and we run it straight over here, and we should be good. Maybe I should run ground right back to the motherboard. I don't know. We'll soon find out. It wasn't previously in the video is pretty good. So we'll just go with it. I've got a lot invested in this 3-pin connector now. So let's just make sure this pin is grounded, doesn't have any. Make sure it has a realistic opinion of itself. Make sure it's humble. Okay, and that's not a very nice wire, but it'll work. Right. I'm assuming this isn't going to snag on the case anywhere. I don't think it will. It looks like we've got loads and loads of space underneath, but what about the shielding? I suppose I'll find out in the fullness of time whether or not the shielding is going to be a complete showstopper with this. Require the whole thing to be redone, but we'll see. The shielding is the only thing that's going to potentially upset things here. Right, I think I'll leave the tubing off here until I figure out whether I've done this correctly. So let's turn the board over, plug it in. You'll see I've got blue tack holding down the cartridge trip, and I'm looking on the side for the monitor jack. Of course, the monitor jack is on the back, where you put it. Okay, so have we got S-video? Let's find out. If it doesn't work, it's entirely possible that it's because Open Broadcaster didn't like the change in. Oh, it seems to be detected. Oh, we've got something. We've got something. I think I've got something connected back to front here. So let's turn it off and have a little look what I've done wrong. So we've got audio. Wait a minute. Yeah, audio, chroma, luma. Oh yeah, you've got chroma and luma mixed up before. Yeah, I think so. Yes, that would be correct. You've got chroma and luma mixed up. What an idiot. Flatten this out a bit. I'm going to trim that down because it's not very nice. Yeah, try to colour code stuff. What good does it do me? Absolutely none at all. Okay, let's try again. Right. Now, what did I say? This is. Oh, Jesus. That's luma. Yeah. That's luma. This is chroma. Lost video, lost mind, I think, is the key issue here. I think the adapter, the capture device works. It's my stupidity which is causing an issue. Oh, let's get this soldered onto here. Oh, I haven't changed the camera view, have I? Hang on. Out of practice with this. Okay, so we've swapped these two wires around, so let's have another try. Let's get the capture card up in the corner. Let's try again. Oh. Right. Oh, come back. Right. Plug you in. My fancy schmancy S-video adapter. And plug this in here. And we'll try again. There we go. Oh, Christ. Overexcited and smashed the board. Try again. Get rid of this solder. Hi Mops. Hi TDLID. I can't even say that. Hi. There we go. That's really, isn't that nice? But the colours are a bit weird, and it's not the mod which is actually responsible for that. It's I don't know if the pot needs adjustment or something. It looks very blue for a PAL machine. Perhaps we can fiddle with that a little bit. Oh, Sebastian, yes, of course. How silly of me. It's always been a long time. Let's just, I'm going to tweak this. Oh, that's interesting. It's like it's a little bit oversaturated. Yeah, it's oversaturated, this video, I think. More, that's kind of more what I would expect to see. This looks, yeah, this looks reasonable. I think the colour just needed to be tuned a little bit. So we need to find out if we've got any audio. So let's have a little bit of a tidy up and see if we can test the audio. Try and stay clean. Get rid of all this junk. I'll keep those, they're always handy to have, little bits of wire. Okay, so what we'll try and do is put the thing in the case and see how we get on. I'm not even going to try and put the shielding back on because I've got a funny feeling that when I do, I'm going to have to do the whole thing again because I'm sure this this whole thing is going to snag on the shield, but well, whatever. Right, let's drop the board in. Drop the board into the case. See if we can reattach the keyboard. The keyboard's a bit nasty to put back in. It's got this row of lethal looking pins on it. I thought the other thing, I thought it would be a good idea to download all the schematics from Jerzy Sabola's site, but Jerzy Sabola's site isn't really working at the moment. So what I've done is I went on to this is impossible to put in with the power board on. So I went to Wayback Machine and I managed to grab pretty much everything except the XEGS schematic, which I already had somewhere. I already had a few of them, but I wanted to get all of them and put them on this machine. And I've managed to get all of them, so I don't know what the situation is with hosting these things. I'd be quite happy to put them somewhere, unless someone else wants to either take the copies I've got and upload them somewhere, or, as I say, I don't really mind, but it would be nice to have these things in some sort of centralized resource, because they, oh blimey, that sort of looks plugged in, because they keep going missing, these schematics, all the time. So I've got a local copy of the whole lot anyway now. I feel a little bit better about. Right, let's try and put this in the case. Ow! And I've just stabbed myself in the finger in the same place I stabbed myself on Friday. Right, here we go. This really looks terrible when it's not in the shield. Right. This is a complete nightmare to try and reassemble. That'll do. And keep that there with that hand, and oh, crikey. Alright. Okay. Here we go. So plug our monitor in, monitor jack, plug our power in, and I'm going to plug SIO to PC in. Ooh, right, and then we're going to power on again. And did this machine wake up there? That sounds reasonably encouraging. Okay. Ah, well, keys won't do anything because they are on the console speaker, aren't they? So that's not going to do anything. That actually does work. That's, wow, that's so weird. That's so strange. Right. Let's try boot something. We should be able to boot something, right? DOS 2.5. Let's see if we can boot DOS 2.5. Here we go. Right, no volume. that could be the capture device. Let's have a look at the audio settings here. See if we can find out. Let's have a look. The color is kind of weird, but it's nice. It's really, really nice, and I have tried it on a proper, on this monitor as well, and it's no less clear. It's very, very good, and it wasn't that difficult to do. So hopefully the owner will be pleased. Right, excuse me. I'm just going to try and find out if I can get audio on this capture device. Right, well, hang on. Oh, that's not even listed here. Okay. Oh yes, it is. let's see, let's type E, and we do get sound, but it's just not coming through Open Broadcaster. So let's have a look why. Audio device 2, there we go. So we've got that now. I don't like the sound of that. Hold on. I'm probably deafening everybody here. Does that make any sound or what? I don't know. I've got a feeling I should mute that. People everywhere with bleeding ears. Anyway, it does appear to produce audio from the SIO as well. That's pretty cool. Is there anything more interesting that I can boot? Let's see what we've got. I haven't really got any interesting. Quick demo. What's this? I don't know what this is. Run at address. Run at address? Where the hell is that? Oh yeah, M. Oh no, that's no good, is it? I can't remember. Let's reboot. Let's see what this is. Ow. Well, it's... Oh, what's this? DIR. What we got here? Anything colourful? I want something colourful. Atari pick, read me. Oh, come on. Just want something to run. ST mouse. Oh, that looks like fun. Let's try that. Mouse. This, having spent so long using touchscreen mobile phones, this isn't actually that bad. Well, come on, how do I run something? Oh man. L? What? No. Run. Ah, damn it. stmouse.com. Nah. Well, how do I run things? Load? I don't know. Well, that's disappointing. What about? I know what to try. Try this. We'll try this. Uno cart. And Uno cart, it does work with Ultimate 1 megabyte machines. Let's just be clear about this. As long as you turn off the PBI hard disk and the high-speed acceleration on a standard machine, or on the 1088 XEL, just the high-speed SIO, and it does work. Right, let's try this. Object, I was typing the wrong name probably. And for all that, I don't think Uno Kart works with a 400. Well, never mind. What about side cartridge? I can't see this working, but we'll try it. Anything? Anything? Doesn't seem like cartridges, this machine. Have I got anything else cartridge based which I can try? Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Oh, I don't know. Well, Ultimate card, but I can't remember what card I've got in it. Oh, I don't know. There must be something. ATR, what the hell is that? Speed script 80, original disc, let's try that. Boot error, awesome. That's nice. I don't know. Well, to hell with it, whatever. System reset. We don't have a Star Raiders. I haven't got a Star Raiders cartridge. I want to get some color on the screen just so I can see what the damn thing looks like with color. Sudoku, is that going to work? Is Sudoku going to work? Let's give it a try. Come on, you can do it. Right, good, okay, and Sudoku XEX. Oh, sorry, I spelled it wrong. Sudoku. God. Oh, Jesus. This isn't much. It's not much fun. Right, let's see. Because we're dealing with a. Oh, there we go. But it's got no color. Oh, Jesus. I give up. I'll find something to test it with color at some point, I'm sure. But yes, this appears to work. So there we are. There we have the monitor jack, which looks, it's kind of settled in the right place now. It does look better. Let's see, it's a lot better. Hold that up and you can see how it looks, like so. So there we have it. So yeah, nice to see some people in chat. I'm gonna bring this to a close now because I'm got some other things to do this afternoon. But yes, nice to see you. I may be back later on, if not later on, probably later in the week, when we've got some more interesting repairs to do. In the meantime, I'm gonna finish this, test it with something that actually produces color. We've also got lined up, we've got some keyboard fixes, we've got some dead XEs, 130 XE, mod for a 65 XE with the unpopulated banks, and a video issue. I don't know whether this will all get filmed, but anyway, yeah, nice to see people in chat. I really wasn't expecting anybody to be here at this time of the day, but nice to be back. Everything seemed to work okay, mic wise and everything, but I'm definitely thinking of investing in something else. So if anybody has any good recommendations for a wireless microphone which doesn't cost the earth, and by cost the earth I mean that in the most restrictive. Oh, there's Fred Jones. Where you been? I've been gone. I decorated this place a while ago. We've got, is this going to turn around? We've got blinds and stuff. That's stiff as hell. That's better. Yeah. We got blinds, and that's the crappy receiver for the mic. It's dreadful. It really is. But yeah, it sort of does the job. So hope you enjoyed that look at the 400s. First time I've ever had one in front of my eyes before, and it's an interesting little machine. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.